Welcome to a new episode of 𝗂𝗏𝘁 Spotlight. I'm your host, Brittany Borer. This week, we're going to be diving into the gluten-free food market. The global market for gluten-free foods is currently worth $6.7 billion globally and is expected to grow to $14 billion by 2032. But what is the current state of the gluten-free market, and how far exactly have we come in regard to taste and texture with these foods? To answer these questions and more and explore this topic a little bit further, I'd like to introduce my guest today, Carolyn Haeler. She is the CEO of Mightylicious Inc.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks so much.
Thanks for being here, Carolyn. It's so nice to see you. So could you tell us about Mightylicious and the backstory behind it?
Sure. I was diagnosed with celiac disease in 2012, and up until that point, I had lived sort of a very gluten-full life. And I had to quickly and sort of on my own figure out how to heal my body through food and also sort of adapt to a new lifestyle because not being able to eat gluten is a very significant change in your lifestyle. A lot of people don't know this, but in addition to the things that you think have gluten in them, like cake and pasta and bread and baked goods, gluten's used as not only it's not only in wheat products, but it's used as a filler, it's used as a color, and it's used as a preservative. So things like Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, and even ginger ale have gluten in them. So it is a really dramatic lifestyle change. And I sort of was living with that for 5 years. And the story goes that it was 2017. I was working in finance. I was working at a hedge fund. I was really unhappy. I was really overworked and exhausted. And I was Christmas shopping. And I'd been shopping all day. I was tired. I was standing in line. There was like 40 people in front of me. And I looked down at the shelf in front of me, and there were these gluten-free cookies that were beautifully packaged, and they said artisanal and handcrafted by this executive chef and baker. And I was like, oh, thank God. And I grabbed them and I took a bite, and it was just not a positive experience. The cookie crumbled in my mouth. It tasted stale. It tasted like ammonia. I literally took the cookie out of my mouth, put it back in the box, and was like, oh my gosh, now I have to buy these. And I ended up throwing them out before I even left the store, like bought them, tossed them in the trash can, went on my way. And in that moment, I was like, there just has to be something better. Like someone has to do something to improve the quality of the products on the market so that they're actually edible, but not only edible, enjoyable. Um, and so it was that moment. I was just sort of at a low point in my in my life. I was unhappy, and I wanted a cookie because cookies should make you happy. It's like, it's a comfort food. It's what you reach for when you sort of need a metaphoric hug. And sort of that had been taken away from me. Really hadn't found up until that point a product that I thought was not only edible but enjoyable. And so I was like, you know what? I love to bake. I'm going to start a cookie company. And so I did.
Now, is your product targeting gluten intolerant consumers, or is this something that everyone can enjoy?
That's a really good question. And it was something that I actually was really, really passionate about. The majority of products on the market actually only target sort of the gluten-free market or segment of the market, which is kind of a captive audience when you think about it. We don't really like, if you're someone like me, if you have celiac disease or a gluten allergy or any other kind of health or wellness issue that you might require a gluten-free diet, you are captive. You don't have any other options. And that means that companies can really get away with cutting corners and creating a product that may not be as appetizing as other products on the market where consumers have a lot more choice and a lot more consumer power. And so I really wanted to create a product that not only was enjoyable for people who have celiac disease, but so that anyone could enjoy it. Doesn't matter whether you have celiac disease or not, or any type of health issue. Maybe you just want to be healthier and live a healthier lifestyle, or you want to give your kids a better for you product that doesn't have any chemicals or processed ingredients, then this is a product for you, because you can have that and you can have your cookie too. You can have the better for you product. You can also have an enjoyable treat.
From a manufacturing and logistical standpoint, what has it been like for you to start this business of a gluten-free product in such a gluten-filled industry?
Hard. It is very, very hard. And the reason it's hard is that there's A lot of manufacturing facilities in the United States. In fact, if you go and talk to a consulting agency who wants to help you sort of find these manufacturing companies and plants, they'll tell you, oh, we have 18,000, 20,000, 30,000 contacts. But the truth of the matter is that the number of gluten-free facilities are like a dozen, maybe 2 dozen. And what makes that even more challenging, especially for someone like me, is that the majority of those manufacturing facilities are free from everything. They're free from tree nuts. They're free from coconut. They're free from eggs. They're free from butter. They're free from, dairy. They're free from everything. But that means that I can't manufacture at a traditional manufacturing facility because they manufacture gluten and there's cross-contamination. And I also can't manufacture at a gluten-free facility, of which there are only a handful, because my products have other allergens in them. And that was tremendously challenging. So I actually had to spend a lot of time in the very beginning sort of figuring out how to fit my product into the current manufacturing landscape and find someone who would actually take me on as a client. That is one of the largest challenges you're going to have in the food space, is once you sort of have enough growth and have that first big order, finding that manufacturing partner who is able to manufacture to the quality that you want and have designed, but also it's going to take a risk on you and take you on because you're a smaller client in the beginning, which is just natural. So that is challenging. The way I've gotten around it, and I think is one of my competitive advantages now, is I actually don't work with any of the established gluten-free manufacturing facilities. I found a specialty cookie manufacturer who has become gluten-free certified for me and for my products, so that we were able to build out the methodology together to create an excellent product that's also safe to be consumed by the gluten-free intolerant population.
Gluten intolerance are a lot more widely known now than they were previously, and North America happens to have the largest market share of these products at 39%. So, from where you stand, do you think the life has gotten easier for that gluten-free customer? Why or why not?
I would say the answer to that is actually yes and no. I think that certainly compared to my life in 2012 and even 2017, there's been a sort of broader awakening of the consumer for a better for you product, and gluten-free is part of that segment. While there is a lot more um, options and variety out there, the quality is still not where it should be. And I don't walk into a grocery store and think to myself, look at all of these options I have. I usually instill just grabbing a few brands that I know have good quality and that I know are acceptable, and then taking them home. There are more of those brands now, but it's certainly not the way I used to eat prior to my diagnosis or prior to having celiac disease. So there's still a lot of room for improvement in the space for better quality products, products that are more typical to what you're used to as a gluten eater. Um, then so it's better, but it's not great is my answer.
Carolyn Haeler, CEO of Mightylicious Inc., thank you so much for your insights today.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I really appreciate the time and the opportunity, and happy snacking, everyone.
And as always, for more of our great content, you can click on this playlist. Until next time, I'm Brittany Borer with the Food Institute.